Welcome to the Boomtown, Nashville, Tennessee. Since 1925, in good times and bad, the famed Grand Ole Opry has been a staple, an economic linchpin for the city.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah, strumming on the old banjo.
On this night, Bela Fleck and Abigail Washburn bring their brand of old-fashioned bluegrass to this hallowed hall.
Strumming on the old banjo.
Fleck, one of the most accomplished banjo musicians anywhere, moved here when disco was fading and heavy metal was in its infancy back in 1981. And through it all, he's watched Nashville flourish.
The first year I came here, everybody said, wow, Nashville's exploding in 1981. And they've been saying that ever since, so it never changes. It's just part of Nashville for me.
It's a city that embraces history, in many ways thriving on it. Take Hatch Showprint, for example. They create posters the way it was done more than 100 years ago, even mixing ink by hand and examining every single poster. It's the little imperfections that are part of the real treasure. Country music and Hatch have a history that is intertwined.
But it's not just country, because Nashville is so centrally located that a lot of musicians on tour would come through Nashville, they could get their posters done. It's within a day's drive of many of the major cities in the U.S.
Nashville is riding the crest of the economic recovery. It has a broad financial base that includes healthcare, higher education, and distribution. But the music industry is the financial glue that holds this city's economy together.
The music community brings a lot of creative people here. They're idea makers.
The Chamber of Commerce says you can see the activity on the city's popular thoroughfare, Broadway, a top attraction for nightlife and tourists. As the United States approaches its important midterm election, Nashville is basking in the glow of a healthy economy, while much of the country focuses on national topics. President Obama's popularity has plunged in Tennessee, and business leaders say most Nashville voters are consumed with hot-button state and local issues, like improving education and transportation.
I think what you're seeing now is people are relying more on the state leadership, less on federal leadership to, create the quality of life, create the atmosphere here that helps this be a prosperous community.
George Groon arguably knows more about stringed instruments than anyone.
I don't make my living playing, though.
He's been selling vintage and new instruments for more than 45 years. And ask him what Nashville is like today.
But it's growing like a weed. Nashville is a totally different looking city than it was when I came to town. I came to Nashville in 1969. Nashville does have a very healthy economy right now, and it's a remarkably diversified economy. So I have considerable faith in it continuing, but I'm not naive enough to think that there will be no bumps in the road.
He's also optimistic enough to believe Nashville's broad-based economy is well positioned to help navigate around those bumps. So even if healthcare, car manufacturing, and tourism take a hit, Music City has something it can always bank on. Sean Caleb's, CCTV, Nashville, Tennessee.